guys, welcome to the Ear Chakra Consciousness Week. My name is Hannah from Reality Awareness. If this is your first time to my live stream, please say hi and let me know where you're from. Even if you're watching on YouTube, please say hi, let me know where you are. I wanted to be sitting on the beach this morning, but the wind came up. The wind always comes in a little bit early-ish, so I think that perhaps I need to change the time of this live stream to earlier in the morning. Hey guys, I see you're joining live. Alright, I got a couple things to do. Let me share this. And I'm curious how you guys are feeling, yeah? Hello, welcome, Jeanette, Amanda. I see you're joining live, beautiful people. I'm curious how you're feeling, yeah? Is everybody feeling at peace and on fire, or people kind of freaking out, or are we feeling down, or how are we feeling? Are we feeling expansive and open, or are we feeling closed? I'm curious how you guys are feeling. All right, let me bring this up and share it, and I will put in the ear chakra meditation by the end of today because it's not there yet. So I'll do that by the end of today. Hi, Michelle. All right, at my favorite beach. This is my favorite. Well, I've got a lot of favorite beaches along this stretch. This is my true local, and it's so beautiful down here this morning. It's so beautiful. So I'd love to know how you guys are feeling while I'm sharing this. Alright, sweet, that is all posted, all ready to go. Things are changing around me, but I'm okay with it. Okay, awesome. Hi, Matthew. Alright. The ear chakra is feeling good about the changes. Awesome. That's awesome. It's always a nice lift when we feel positive about the changes, right? Because change always happens. Sometimes we don't want the change to happen. Sometimes we've kind of got no control over it. Sometimes we have to make changes. And regardless, it's always going to be uncomfortable, no matter what change it is. So when we can, have a good experience and feel good about the changes, that's always positive, right? That beach looks so pretty on the live stream. It's like a perfect place to be. Kind of out of the wind here a little bit. So Jeanette says, I've been feeling good until tonight. Picked up strong vibes, which were denied from my new man. Okay, so let me do it. Okay, I walked away and came home. Yikes. Oh, that card just flew out. Let me see what that card is. Really important. I felt called to pull a card for the, for the ear chakras, yeah? So interesting. Michelle says, waking up during the night, my ears are aching. What a surprise. So, okay. Found out he's been on a dating site after telling me he hadn't. At the ears, so, we just come out of the third eye, stepping in, seeing the truth, seeing what's really going on in relationships. And then at the ears, yeah, it's like we are hearing behind the words of what people say. So they say something and we're like, we can feel it. We're hearing what they're not saying, yeah? Now, whether it's it might not be words that you're hearing. So somebody says something, it's not that you might not hear a whole sentence about what's really going on, but you get a sense that there's more to it. There's something they're not saying. You're hearing behind what's really going on. You can feel, you can see, you can hear behind the words of what they're really saying. So Marty says, I'm feeling lots of change, but I'm a little freaked out how it all fits for me. Okay, so is it change happening to your personal life, or is it just change around you? That's how I described it to him about the vibe. Yep. Yeah. So I'm just going to read B because this is the card that flew out. This is out of the Druid Animal deck, and this is one of my newer decks, so I'm not 100% familiar. I know the B is very connected to the goddess, very connected to like feminine, and the ears are exactly that. So it's kind of no surprise, right, that B has come up. So I'm just going to see what jumps out at me about B's message, and then I'm going to dive into the oh, these are all not in alphabetical order. Okay, let me check. That's so weird. You can tell how much I've used these new cards. I've actually got the app on my phone of this one, so just let me find B. It's so interesting. Is it like fully? There's no index and there's no thing here. B is powerful. Yes. No. I just shared a post that B's the most important beings on the planet. I know. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Okay. Hi, Natalie. Hey, Laura. Okay. So, oh my goodness, my hair is flying everywhere. I'm like standing this way because the wind's coming that way, so my hair's going to probably all thing. But I just wanted to hear it, and I wanted to be at the beach this morning. Okay, B. Keywords: community, celebration, organization. So B invites us to celebrate. You may have a special reason for a celebration, or you may simply need to celebrate the wonder and mystery of being alive. It's interesting. In the Druid tradition, there are occasions to celebrate every 6 weeks or so. There's something about that 6 number. The bee tells us that we can live together in harmony, however impossible this may seem. By being at one with the natural world, paying homage to the sun, by centering our lives around the spirit or the goddess, we can work together in humanity. In community. It says community, I said humanity, because this is starting to bring through what I wanted to talk about, and what is almost bringing tears to my eyes about what I really want to share with the ear chakras, yeah? So like Kelly says, headaches and ear aches for me, otherwise feeling strangely numb. Yep. Okay. So I'm just going to bring up something. Now, who here has seen Outlander, the Outlander series on what is it? It's on Netflix. Oh, it's on Foxtel and stuff as well. Okay. So what I'm about to share here is, okay, here we go. Ear chakra is pouring through. The ears are so important, and for me, it's like the missing link in the key to humanity returning back to peace. Now, everyone's like, you know, and I solely agree and believe that world peace will come when everyone feels peace within themselves. Now, it's not like we're peaceful all the time, but that peace comes when we know that everything outside of us is a reflection of what's going on inside of us, and we know when something is, you know, happening out there. We first check in here. We first check in here, we do the work, and then we come out here and, you know, in our outer reality, and reassess if we need to take action out here after we've done the work in here. That's when world peace will ensue. Like, that's what I solely believe, right? Now, the ears play a really big part in that, because the ear chakras are associated with the color pink. Put that down for a minute. They're associated with the color pink. Obviously there's 2 on either side, yeah, and 1 for each ear, and they come, you know, obviously in the middle. So it's just like, you know, where our physical ears go inside our head, our ear chakras also go into the inner ear in there, and it's like the ear chakras are like big cone shapes, yeah, they're like big spirals coming out. Now, as I always say, this is just a guide, and this is just a starting point. The continual evolution of spiritual bodies, organs, like the whole thing, yeah, comes when you can start somewhere, and if that changes or they evolve or they grow or they shift or whatever, there's like a big stick just hanging here. It's like right here in my head. I can feel its presence like just there, which is super interesting with what I'm about to share. So, oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought because of that. Okay, what the hell? Okay, this is really important. Okay, because this stick coming in, oh yeah, so this is like a starting point, right? And I always say this is, you know, we learn something and then we need to keep continually tune in to what's right for us. That's why I teach trust the intuition, so you know how to trust the intuition even when somebody's telling you to do this and somebody's telling you to do that and da-da-da. Like, trust the intuition over anything, even over what I'm telling you. Like, it's so important, right? So trust the intuition, right? It's a starting point with the chakras, okay? Now, coming down through the chakras may not even resonate with you, and you need to trust that. You need to trust that, and you need to do what's right for you, always. Now, with the ear chakras, like I said, okay, so big 2 cone-shaped grids, and like spiral grids that go out, right? But they're literally like grids. So I didn't think I was going to need this today. And I think I could have turned the camera around for some reason. Okay, so let me just draw my amazing spiral cone-shaped grid things. Alright, so it's like cone-shaped grids, right? And so that would have the grid on the, you know, on this side as well. However you draw the 3D side over there, right? So it's like a big grid, yeah, a big cone-shaped grid that goes out, right? Like funnel, yes, thank you. Of course it's a funnel, right? How did I not ever think of that before? Like a big funnel, okay? Hey, Deborah. Now, when we do the ears, obviously they're both on either side. And in light field yoga, and obviously in my ear chakra course, it's like fully repairing the grids, right? In the ear chakra meditation, which I'll have available, just like I've had the crown and the third eye, I'll get that uploaded today. If you've got my program Get Clear, you would already have that the ear chakra meditation, right? So I'll put that in, and it's like making sure these grids are like repaired. And if you've done my third eye meditation, you'll see it's a similar sort of thing. Like, we're making sure there's no rips or tears, or, you know, like we're repairing the grids. Now, what's interesting about the grids is that our entire planet is made up of grids, right? The ley lines, the grids, and it's gonna start making me cry about this, is the grids of, you know, like the natural crystalline grids of the earth have been destroyed by government agencies, by all of that. And let me know, like, who's seen the Area 51, has the Area 51, what is it going to be, like not a stampede, like a protest, the Area 51 protest? Who has seen people talking about that? Apparently, and this might seem left field and not connected, but it's all connected, right? There, you know, apparently it's going to be a big protest at Area 51. I mean, like, it's a full-on military base. Like, if people actually turn up there, they're probably going to get shot. Like, that's the reality of it. It's like, you know, all the celebrities have been talking about it. There's over 1 million people that have said yes to it, you know, on Facebook. Apparently there's this big thing, and Paris Hilton and all that were talking about it. Yeah, it's like, save the aliens, free the aliens, like, we're going to go in there, like, you know, and it's a military base. Whether people actually turn up to that or not, the amount of energy that is going on that place now and bringing awareness to it, yeah, is powerful enough, yeah. Now, looks like a spider web. So if you ever trip on LSD and look at the sky, you can see the grid in the night sky. Who can see it without it? Who can see the grids, and who can see the angelic forms and the light frequencies without LSD? It's so interesting that you've brought this up, Kirsten, because I haven't taken drugs for years, and I've been playing with the thing of going to an ayahuasca ceremony recently, and something hasn't felt right about it for me. And I saw, and like, you know, I was in this process last year. I'm like, I feel like I need to go, and I'm like, something doesn't seem right about it, you know. And for me, it's like separating all the sheaths and the aura within us, and I'm like, oh, no fucking way. Like, I've done years and years of repair about that from taking drugs. I'm not about to do that again. Now everyone's got their own opinion and experience, and like, that's just my thing. I mean, like, when I was questioning it last year, and this is still about the ears, right? And this is all connected, and I'm about to tell another story, and it's all going to bring us back to the ears, right? Because these, okay, let me tell the LSD story. I've been so interesting, as of course it's all ears. Seeing the truth and then listening, opening to receive but repairing the grids. When these are damaged within yourself, of course everything else is going to be hampered. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, these grids are so important, right? Been looking at the stars and seeing the grids. Yes. Now, in last year, I was like, what is this? Like, what is, you know, like, what is with these ceremonies and stuff? And anyway, I saw some woman randomly, you know, you ask the question and Spirit always shows you the answer. And I saw some woman post on Instagram, and she was like, it was like a photo of her walking back into the ceremony space. And she's like, I was in all these dimensions at once and I could see all these beings and stuff. And I'm like, man, that's like my everyday normal fucking reality. Like, you know, if anyone is in my Trust Intuition course, I teach you how to make this normal reality, because it is. Like, you know, we don't need drugs to like expand our consciousness. You can fucking do that yourself. Like, anyway, that's my personal thing, because the form of taking any drug is to create the connection to spirit. Like, that is the purpose of any drug. That's why people take it, to have that connection. Like, it is. But the thing with taking drugs, it separates all the sheath. And so when it comes back in, it's kind of like, well, I need that again, because they need to keep doing that. Now people say the ceremonies that actually shift stuff out. I'm like, yeah, to what extent, right? You want to do permanent healing, you don't need that. And I can speak that from experience, because this is my everyday reality of being that connected to spirit, seeing the grids, seeing all the beings. Like, that's normal reality. Now in the old days, we would get burned at the stake for that. In the old days, we would get put in mental asylums for that. Yay for living in the 20th century, where that's not going to happen this day and age. Yeah, possibility, we could go into the mental asylum, right? In a particular situation, of course they would. They would admit you to hospital in the mental ward and take the whole thing, blah, 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 right? That still happens today. I teach you in Trust Intuition about how to make it normal, and then how to be your normal, connected, gifted self, your deepest self, than around mainstream people. How the fuck do we fit into normal society? Well, number one, yeah, we're not supposed to fit in and blah, 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 blah. But we still need to interact with them on a daily basis, and most of them are our family, right? Now, family and friends. Now, obviously, like, there's Outlander on Netflix and that. There's also, I think it's still there because I watched it a couple of years ago. There's a two-part series documentary on Netflix called Witches. And it literally talks about how we were burnt at the stake and all of that, right? Now, I talk a lot about this in Trust Intuition, because whenever we're starting to come in to teach our spiritual gift in the modern day world, right, and really step up and do this as a business, or move forward in your career, or whatever it is, or just be more in tune and sensitive in no matter what field you're in, right? If you don't heal and work through the pain and trauma and torture of being locked up, of being burnt at the stake, of being expelled from the tribe, like, if you haven't worked on that stuff, you just won't step out. Like, you just won't, because the body memory trauma stuff does it. Now, some people might want to do that in an ayahuasca ceremony. Like, now for me, I'm like, man, I do this in my everyday reality. I don't need to go and take a drug I know it's not a drug and it's, you know, this and that, but I'm just like, why would I need to do this when I get the same experience in my everyday reality? Like, that's, do you know what I mean? So anyway, that's my own little personal process about it. But being this connected to spirit is, one, a gift, but anyone and everybody has that gift. They do. They just do. Because everybody has the same spiritual organ system as our physical body. Everybody has a soul. So that means everybody has the gift, because everybody is connected. Everybody is connected to source and spirit. It just depends on the conscious awareness of that connection. The conscious awareness of that connection. Every single person on this planet is connected. Everybody. It is just the conscious awareness of the connection. So when we're doing personal development work, what we're doing is becoming conscious of the connection. Every single layer, every single little bit, we're becoming more conscious of the connection to the spirit that we already are, to our soul, to whatever. Now, in the 1800s, like, 16, 17, 1800s, there's this thing, right? And it's still in the collective today, because the 1800s weren't that long ago. Yeah, the grid, spirit, source, energy, all the same, right? In a way, all leads to the same place. Now, that's the 1800s, not very long ago. Yeah, it's only 200 years ago. It's fuck all, right? Now, that energy from the 1800s is still very, very present, very active, very alive today. Now, in 1864, this is what my client, we were talking about this stuff, and she ended up doing this research, which I highly encourage, and look what you find. She found this thing, and I was just like, it was making me cry. So she found, so the I don't even know how to say it, the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum from 1864 to 1889. Reasons for admission into the lunatic asylum: intemperance and business trouble, kicked in the head by a horse, hereditary predisposition, ill treatment by a husband, imaginary female trouble. This is what it fucking says. Hysteria, immoral life, imprisonment, jealousy and religion, laziness, marriage of a son, masturbation and syphilis, masturbation for 30 years, medicine to prevent conception. You get admitted to a fucking psych ward, to a mental institution, to a lunatic asylum, sorry. This is in 1864 to 1889. Novel reading, menstrual deranged, nymphomania, opium habit, overaction of the mind, overstudy of religion. Parents were cousins, political excitement, politics, religious enthusiasm, fever and a loss of a lawsuit. Like, seriously? Congestion of brain, death of sons in war, domestic affliction, domestic trouble. The list goes on. Like, time of life, women trouble. Like, seriously, superstition, shooting of daughter, smallpox, spinal irritation, grief. It fucking says grief on here. Hard study, self-abuse, false confinement, female disease, dissipation of nerves. These are the reasons for admission from 1864 to 1889 into the lunatic asylum. Now that just shows you, right, that's not very long ago. When I was reading that stuff, it makes you, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, that's why I'm not wanting to like step up and out in my business. That's why I'm not wanting to tell anyone that I can sense energy, because that is so strong for, like, that's still in the collective, yeah? And especially if you haven't done internal work yourself to release your experience of past lives of that stuff. whether or not you had a direct experience of it, or whether you were the perpetrator of it, or you were around it happening in a past life, in the collective energy of your field, it's still there. Now, how does that relate to the ear chakras? In a sense that the ears are open, the ears are feminine, the ears are open and receptive. They're big, open grids. Now, when we have a voice and we share what we're hearing, sharing our thoughts, sharing our feelings, any of those things, right? Feeling grief, feeling the ears, the heart, and the base, so connected. They're so connected. Yeah, they are so connected. Now, in modern day society, right, and for eons, everybody's been doing the chakra system coming up from the base. Yeah, up from the base, and there's no ears. They've been doing seven. I do 8 because I come down and I include ear chakras. Because if we're not listening to our intuition, we're coming straight from seeing the truth and straight into throat of acting without even checking in what's right for us, what's right for the person, what's right for your reality, your humanity, any of that. Because yes, this connects us, but these grids here, these are the ones that connect us into the other dimensions. Now, as a society, we've been shut down, put into mental asylums, put into all of that. Yeah, and so this has been very shut down. At the same time, the government's been going around the world, and this has been going on for a long time. The government's been going on around the world, specifically blowing up the feminine points on the earth that destroy these grids on the earth. And so not only have we had our own grids shut down, but that's been going on too. So repairing these grids also helps repair those grids, and we're connected back to our true nature. Now, when we work with numbers, 7 is an odd number. It might be, yes, it's still a powerful number, but 8 is the infinity symbol. 8 is the never-ending flow. 8 is that limitless self, the ultimate connection to source that has no end, right? 8 is that space that opens, like it's balanced. Half of 4, like it's a balanced number, yeah? And it's 4 on either side, right? We've got 4 and 4. The higher 4 and the lower 4. There's a space in between. That's where the infinity flows. Yeah? Now, the other thing about this, the ears, is that this is deeply connected to the feminine, to the goddess, just like the grids around the earth, just like all of that, you know, they're going around hunting down for a reason and blowing up, you know, magical reefs and stuff because they're, you know, like out near, I don't know, it's like out near Bora Bora and like south of Hawaii and, you know, all of that region, like where Lemuria is supposed to be. Like the governments have been, you know, this is a long time ago, gone out there and specifically blowing up with missiles reefs because of these portals that are out there that they know about, that connects the grids, that keeps the world happening with that deep connection, right? Now people have gone to these places and repaired them and all of those things, yes, right? We've been doing a lot of conscious work to repair it, people like us, right? Now the other part of this is that along with those, the women, especially women, like in those things that she showed me, my client, they're all women, like they're women, they're just full of women. And I watched the Victoria series on Netflix, which is about Queen Victoria and her reign through the 1800s. And the last episode I watched, I think it was the last or second last episode, like, I don't know, the Duchess or something, I can't remember exactly. The Duchess, like the Duke was treating her like shit, like had already taken her son away from her, never let her do anything, like it was just, you know, so harsh to her. And so she started having feelings for another man, servant. The Duke found out about that, and the Duke got the doctors to say that she was, you know, what is it? Not crazy, something, there's another medical term for it, and she got put in a mental asylum, like into a lunatic asylum, like, seriously. And people wonder, and this is so important, that if you struggle to leave a relationship, especially if you're a woman, and even if you're a man, because you might have been a woman in the past life, right? Those, like, along with the energetic, like, collective of that century, and, you know, around that whole, it's not just that century, right? That is, like, need to do a big cleaning out. And this is why when I work with people in being able to relieve a relationship, or choose, or still deciding, or they're like, why am I staying in this abusive relationship? Like, there's a lot of these threads that need to be cleared out as well, because if you try and leave in this lifetime and you haven't done that work, that's when the pullback happens and stuff, because it's energetic stuff from that century, plus your own internal fears of like, fuck, I'm gonna get put in a mental asylum if I don't do my duty as a housewife, and I don't fucking even want to be doing this, but I have to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? There's all of that, okay? So big clearing out, big clearing out. Let me just have a look here. Kylie says, my ears start ringing, and it's usually a profound moment or information I need to take note of. Is this connected within the chakras? Yes. So Kirsten says, I have this happen too, and I've heard it means someone is talking or thinking of you. I'm not sure. Yeah, women are so powerful. We are creators. Men have tried to squash our magic intuition for years. Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. So when your ears start ringing, pay attention to what you were just thinking about, what you were just talking about, what you were just planning on doing, or, you know, like what was just happening in those moments before the ringing started happening. And then also after the ringing stopped, or while it's, you know, you're like, oh, what's this about? I always ask, I'm like, oh, what's this about? And pay attention to intuition that starts coming through, or feelings or thoughts, or, you know, like the hour after, the day after, the 3 days after. Like, just be conscious of that, because you'll be being guided with information. Usually the ringing is a download through here. Now with these, hey Alina, you had ear ringing as well. With the the ringing in the ears, it's these connection to the grids there. Yeah. Now these grids can go into other dimensions and stuff, and this is where you don't need to leave your body, and I don't recommend leaving your body to go and travel somewhere. I teach that in Trust Intuition so strongly, because if you're not grounded in your body, who is? If you're not aware of what's going on in the connections, then, and you're disappeared out of there. And this is why I don't like taking drugs. When I learnt this, like in 2005, like I was a hardcore raver. Like I was like the biggest recreational drug taker ever. And when I learnt this stuff in 2005, it pulled me off drugs, because if I'm not in my body, who the fuck is? And the bonus about staying connected to your body is that you have this connection. It's not broken. It's not in, your sheaths aren't all being separated and pulled away, and then all this other stuff can come in that's not fucking you, right? If there is 7 billion people on this planet, just over 7 billion people, humans on this planet, how many people are in the spirit world? Think about that for a moment, right? If there are 7 billion people on this planet, how many people are in the spirit world? So if you leave your body just for a moment, who's in there, right? This is why when I say, like, I never say, oh, I'm channeling this person, or I'm channeling this deity, or I'm channeling this angel, or no, I'd never say that. I connect with them, and then when I feel them around, I'm like, oh, that feels like such and such. But it's not like I'm channeling this person, because I'm connected to my source, connected to the intuition that's coming through me. It's not like I'm channeling someone or some other being, or no. Right? If you're not grounded in your body, who is? You don't need to disconnect. You don't need to leave your body. You don't need to do any of that to be that connected. You don't need to take any substances to be that connected. You just need to build your senses to be that connected. It's a skill, just like any skill. Any skill. All right, let me just check these comments. Your ears ring too, yes. Okay, Leanne says, I recognize stars on Barnes whenever, and I noticed you have star earrings on. I know, I felt called to wear my stars today. So thank you for reminding me again, because I really want to say something really important. You know this whole thing, right? With the ears being connected, okay, it's a reconnection back to the goddess, right? The 7 chakras, it's an odd number. The 8 chakras, including the ears, it's a balanced number. The patriarchal has been dominating for eons of time. Everybody knows this. The matriarchal, the goddess, is rising. And it's not like she's gonna rise and overtake the world. No, she is rising to come back into balance. What is the 4? And the 4 is fucking balance. It's not an uneven balance. This is feminine. This is masculine. This is feminine. This is masculine. This is feminine. This is masculine. This is feminine. Our sacral, the base is masculine. Imagine not having that feminine. What is there? There's more masculine. Activating, connecting back to your ear chakras activates the feminine. We open again. Now, another level. These are deeply connected to your ovaries. Our ears look like our ovaries. In our ear chakras, they have, in our physical ears, there is a meridian point for every single organ in their body, just like our feet, right? Our ears are so profoundly connected. Oh, it's back to front. I couldn't turn the camera around today for some reason. There is a meridian point for every organ in our body, just like reflexology in our feet. Yeah? They're so powerful. Now, with this, the grids, yeah? And what we're doing is we're amplifying our power when we learn to build our ear chakras. It's our clairaudience. Like, how can we have clear intuition when we're not including our ears? It's our clairaudience, for goodness sake. How many people have ringing in the ears? How many people do that? I was at a talk a few weeks ago, and it was an activation with 7 chakras, and I was like, there is no fucking way I'm sitting here and I'm not including the ears. So I just included the ears when he came down and started speaking about it. And for me, I'm like, but what about everyone else in the room? And I was like, well, having this little conversation in my head while everything's going on, I'm like, well, I'm just going to activate everyone's fucking ears. And I did. I just sat there and I did everyone's ears, and then, you know, still did these meditation and stuff in my way. Now, at the end of that activation that he took us through, somebody fucking put their hand up and they said, my ears were really hurting in that. And I was like, oh, whoops, right? And then he said, oh no, that's because of your throat and blah, blah, blah. And I could just, like, I was just listening, and I just, oh my God, I was like, wow, he just shut her fucking ears down, right? When your ears are hurting, when you start doing spiritual work and you start having physical feelings and shifts, I'm like, the energy is moving again. Start shaking. When you hold a yoga pose for too long and you're shaking like this if you haven't done it for a while, because the meridians are starting to open, the energy lines are moving through your body, right? Stuff moves, yeah? Hurts. It's like moving, opening, shifting. So I'll check the comments in a minute. The point that I want to say about this is we're reclaiming our power. Yeah, we're coming back into balance. You want to work with the goddess, you want to work with the feminine, you want to work on receiving. If your ears are shut, you're not going to be able to receive. Now when you open your ears, it opens your ovaries, and our ovaries are in our sacral chakra. And what happens with your sacral chakra? That's where we gestate all our dreams. That's where we birth reality. Yeah, we're gestating reality and we birth it through the base, right? If these are closed, anyone with fertility issues, if you have not worked on your ear chakras, get out of your base and get out of your sacral and start working here. I guarantee if you start working on opening your ears, if you start saying yes instead of no, if you start opening to receive help, right? This might be opening to receive intuition and hearing messages and that, but what is it related to on the physical level? It's a deep connection back to reality. It's hearing the sounds of nature, right? The first thing we do, one of the first things that pulls our soul into reality is sound. When we're in the mother's womb, it sounds like the ocean. Her breathing, the inhale, the exhale. That sound. That's why the ocean is so soothing, because it reminds us of the sound of our mother breathing that we could hear when we were in her womb for 9-10 months consistently. So the first thing that brings us into reality is sound. If your ears are shut down, if you're not saying yes to help, if you're not asking for help, you'll be like this, no, I can do it, no, it's all fine, and we're in the masculine because we're shut down. Asking for help and opening, asking for help is the first thing. We're like, I need help, and then people come in, we're like, okay, it's really uncomfortable to receive this for the first time, and then we open our ears and we start to get comfortable in this receiving space. So when you're talking about, when you're seeing the stars, I needed to explain all that because it's about taking your power back, okay? Because everyone will probably freak out when I say this, but what we're doing is we're activating a new light body in our body. Yeah, it's like a no-brainer, right? We're activating our 8 chakras. Fresh energy is going to come in. A whole different energy is coming in. It's a softness, it's a gentleness, it's an openness. We're receiving coming into our body, right? Now, it's changing our frequency. It's changing our vibration because we're opening to receive again. Like, oh, we're coming into balance. No more of this. No more 7, it's 8. No more patriarchal, it's both. Everybody knows it's not the goddess overtaking, it's the bringing them back into fucking balance. Everybody knows that, right? This is changing our vibrational frequency. It's changing and bringing us back into balance, into our heart. Like, you know, the gap is no longer, the center of the chakras is no longer at the heart. It's in the between the solar plexus. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's in between the heart and the throat, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's in between the heart and the throat. It's no longer the heart. It's here. What is that space? You know, people know what it's called. I always forget. You know, they talk about like the chakras in between the chakras, and my free meditation, the next wave ascension healing activation meditation, that is works on the chakras in between the chakras, works on the connection between the chakras, right? Everybody knows in the spiritual communities this is a very important part, and people are like, why am I getting heart palpitations, and why? It's like, yeah, because we're coming back into balance, and all of a sudden this meeting point here is starting to go, oh, thank fuck for that. Changing our vibration, it takes an adjustment for our body to remember, and our soul body frequency to remember, oh, this is our natural state. Now, I had to say all that stuff first, okay? Because everybody, not everybody, there's a lot of people freaking the fuck out about 5G. Okay, now I saw something just yesterday, the day before, and I haven't seen anything for a little bit, and I was like, oh yes, of course I just saw that. Apparently very soon they're launching, I don't know, some ridiculous amount of new satellites into space to, I don't know, to activate the 5G network, basically turning Earth into a microwave or some fucking shit, right? You guys know, you've seen all the shit, probably freaking out about it. I needed to say all of that before I started talking about 5G, because everybody's freaking out about it. And I'm like, guys, women, men, girls, stop. Because that fear is the very fear that the patriarchal has had control over us for all these eons of time. Remember your power, remember your sovereignty, and by doing that, you change the frequency of your body that keeps up with the 5G. There's a reason that everybody talks about 5D consciousness for a fucking reason, and they just happen to name it 5G. Now, what's coming first? The 5D consciousness, and then the government going, fuck, we need to like contain this. Now everybody knows that nothing can be contained when we remember our power. Everybody knows, and if you truly believe that you create your own reality, then nothing outside of you can affect you. Nothing. Buddha proved it by drinking poison. that level of consciousness, people, is attainable if you do the fucking work and keep out of the fear grid. Connect into the light body and the light consciousness on the earth. It starts by opening and coming back into balance. Not this. If you're in fear, you're this. Remember your power here. The divine balance. Yeah? Okay, something else I need to say about that. I've been speaking to my intuition a lot lately and it's getting stronger. Yes! I wonder if it matters which ear to, whether it's the left because your dark side or right since it's the light. I always hear here. I never really I don't think I've ever had downloads here when I hear it and it's not here or here. It's kind of just below here. It's where I always hear my downloads. Who knows if it's right or wrong? It's just got to be right for you. As I always say, trust your intuition over what anybody else outside of yourself says. Just asking a simple yes or no's and follow. Yes, yes, that's when we strengthen it. I can also hear lights and Wi-Fi. Yes. Okay. This, opening your ears. You're going to be sensitive. You're going to be like, ah. These are delicate webs, but they can be strengthened. Okay, strengthened and trained to be strong, right? The golden orb spider, I think they're only in Australia, out bush. They create massive webs, and in the sunlight they're pure golden, like they're amazing. I watched a documentary, I'm getting covered in goosebumps on this. It's interesting, right? The golden web, and the bee is the gold, right? Gold is a very regenerative stone. Gold is connecting back to the sun, which is the power, which is your power. You want to reconnect to your power, spend time in the sun, do work with the sun energetically, right? I watched a documentary on the golden orb like ages ago. It's just, you know how you randomly see these things, right? And like they did these tests. It's the strongest web in the world. Like, and the scientists are trying to pick it apart, how they make it, because it's stronger than titanium or something. Like, it is like out of a spider's bum, for goodness sake. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, nature's amazing. So sensitivity increases with this. When your ears open, your sensitivity, your senses, everything is more amplified, if you may. So hearing lights and Wi-Fi, yes, 100%. Like, you know, when I notice when the power goes out in my suburb for whatever reason, I don't know, someone crashes into a pole or they're doing work or something, and I'm like I can literally feel it. I'm like, total different energy, right? So hearing lights, Wi-Fi, and that's when it's like when you can hear all these different elements of vibration, when you can hear the sound, and when you continue to strengthen yourself by tuning in. Like, when you ask yourself, like, what else can I hear? It's a bit like, what else can I see? What else can I hear? What else can I hear? Like, you can hear so much more, right? Okay, never said evil. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening there. Someone's miscommunicating, mishearing things, are we? Okay, Dana says, I get pain in my right ear and a lot of auditory. Yes, awesome. Misinterpreted. Okay. They all hear you when you call for one. Yes, all beings will come, definitely. I always say over 100% light, with whatever deity you're calling on, just add 100% light on the end. Because like I said, if there's 7 billion people on this planet, how many people are in the spirit world? Yeah, it's huge. What happens if you have a male on drugs who won't leave my aura? I can feel the drugs up my nose. Oh, when I'm connected to a man, like if I'm in an intimate relationship with a man, like I've noticed this in my past history of men these past few years, even if I'm not with them anymore, I can feel when they're drinking, I can feel like the same thing, right? The drugs, like the whole, like that sensitive, right? Because you're connected to that person. So Dana, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing Dana or Dana, can you please let me know if you have watched the Crown Chakra live stream? Because in there will be your answer, because they're connecting through you. Oh my heart. Wow, my ex holding my sacral downward chains. Yeah. Left is feminine, right is masculine. Yes, apparently. Or is it? That's what society has been taught for eons of years. That the right is masculine, the left is feminine. Is it? I have an ex just like that I'm trying to shake off, yet cuddle ties, but the love never dies. In my opinion, I don't know how to cut the connection. Okay guys, if you haven't watched that crown chakra and the third eye, actually, if you haven't watched those two live streams, please watch them. If you don't know which ones I'm talking about, please send me a message so I can send you the direct link. If you don't send me a message, I can't get the direct link to you, but if you scroll down my page, it's there, but there are a couple of different videos there, so just let me know because that will explain a lot of it there. Okay, Kelly says my grandma was gifted but pushed it down. She was told she was crazy evil. Yes, she started losing her hearing at a young age, and by the time she died she was almost totally deaf. It makes me cry for her hiding her truth. Yes, okay. So in the ear chakras, same with sight. People who have to wear glasses, they don't want to see something in their life. Yeah, they don't want to hear it. Yeah. So symptoms of a closed inflow, because there's always an inflow and there's an outflow as well, right? So when you've got a closed inflow, and this is when you're closed to receiving, and this is where I'm always talking about in my live streams, like you have to be comfortable with receiving, you have to be comfortable with the male coming in, and most of us are not comfortable with the male energy of that, you know, because of everything I've just spoken about. It's been shutting us down and squelching us for so long, so why the fuck would we trust it, right? Got trust issues? It's that, yeah, closed ear. So don't trust people, can be very negative with anything anyone says. They've got closed ears, they're closed in their feminine, closed to receiving, don't feel safe in the world, very negative, perception of everything. Can manifest a loss of physical hearing because they're not wanting to hear. Yeah, closed ear chakras there. Yeah. Referring to Hinduism. Yeah. And that's the thing, it's kind of like these symptoms, these systems, right? Of like, there's nothing wrong with it, right? It's just that everybody says that we need change in the world, and yet, of course, people are doing things about it. But we're still practicing old methods. It's a bit like the schooling system is out of date. 20 years ago, perhaps. These days, with the sort of children that are coming in, with the level of technology that is coming in, the schooling systems, they're out of date. Yeah? Everybody's saying we need change in the world, like the ways that they're trying to control us worked 20, 30 years ago. Not anymore. Okay? Everything needs updating because there's an old system that's still operating on the planet, trying to fit into the new system, and everyone's going, what the fuck are my kids? And like, everyone's running around crazy because we don't fit into that old society anymore. Like, we just don't. We're evolving through and past that. And do you know what I mean? Like, and the biggest thing comes with the ear chakras, like opening to receive and including that in our chakra system these days. Because if we don't, we're still operating on that patriarchal masculine space. I mean, like, where did that originally come from? Like, was that through India and through that? I mean, I love that stuff, right? I love it. But who was the original yogi? Like, it was a man. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Pretty sure it was a man on the Ashtanga, real strong yoga series, right? That is a masculine dominated industry. Like, that's where it birthed from, was a masculine Ashtanga, very powerful, very masculine. Like, yes, there's yin yoga, and yes, there's all these things that have come off it, but the original core was 7 chakras and a very strong, dominant, masculine Ashtanga class. Like, that process, right? It's time for change. I love you too, Aurora. You're so welcome, Michelle. Needed to hear that. Okay, pronounced it right. Awesome. So Aurora says, as I'm listening, I'm shuffling my new Thoth deck. Got gifted last week and Wealth and Abundance fell out. Listening. Awesome. Okay, thanks for reminding me. So the bee, yeah, the bee has the hive, yeah, and it's that hexagon shape. So I don't know, is it 6 or 8 sides? Okay, the other thing that's coming to mind, so sorry, I'm getting 50 messages at once. So the bee is very connected to the goddess, it's very connected to the hive and going into the home and creating that space, right? Like that's that kind of energy of like creating like gold stuff, yeah? Yeah, the hexagon is 6. So I've been questioning a lot, and it's interesting that you brought up Thoth, because this whole thing around the old society ways and the 7 and the masculine dominated, like I love that Ashtanga yoga, by the way. Like if I do yoga, it's always Ashtanga yoga. Like I love it. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that anything's bad, wrong, right or wrong. I'm just like, guys, we need an updated system here. Like, you know, it's just kind of like we wonder why things are still not working and the fertility rates are going through the roof, and it's like more and more shut down and squelch, 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 right? Trying to fit into a society that is old and outdated, right? So I've been questioning the whole spiritual world. And I know that's going to sound like fully crazy coming from me, because this is what I teach, right? But I've also been saying for ages, I feel like I'm starting to understand something deeper here. It's like, you know, even with the sacred geometry, and the earth's made of sacred geometry, and everything's got these, you know, everything's in this specific number sequence, and everything's made up from mathematics. And I'm like, yeah, but what's beyond that? What if this is what this is made up of, but what's beyond that? Like, do you know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah, but what? Right? Now, the other part of this power and control, dominance, the masculine society, the 7, like the patriarchal that's been dominant for a long time. I just happened, like, because I've been asking these questions for a bit, right? So since April last year, I've been questioning time reality. I've been questioning, but everyone's like, but we're like instant manifestation and we're out of time. And I'm like, well, we live on a 3D time scale fucking planet. Like, you know what I mean? So all this information's been coming through for me over the past 18 months. And I'm so like coming into this thing, I'm getting all these pieces. And with this like questioning, of course I'm being guided to all these things, right? Now, as I said, 7 chakras, I teach with the 8. I always, like, even at that activation, I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm sitting here and not activating my ears. Like, it's just not happening. And and I'm so glad I did, because I just had so much more information come through about it. But I think it was maybe 2 nights ago or something like that, or I think it wasn't that long ago that I saw this documentary come up on my feed. It was connected to Gaia, and I googled it. It was on YouTube, so I started watching it. It's not on sacred symbols, the secret symbols or something. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. Something like that, right? And it intrigued me, and I was like, this is what I've been asking. Because after going to that talk and where I activated the ears, I was like, there's no way I'm not including the ears in that activation. And he was talking a lot about John Blow-Mitchell's deck, and that was like one of the first books I read when I got into this stuff in 2005, was John Blow's work. I loved it, resonated with it. And I've only ever had volume 1, there's volume 2, like his flower, Ancient Flower, The Secret of Life. Only ever had volume 1. And then after I went to this talk a few weeks ago, I was like, I think I need to read volume 2 now. I think it's time, you know, I just haven't. Anyway, so I bought it, and I only read the first few pages, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? This doesn't make sense to me, right? And I think because my passion is, why is everything cryptic? Like, my passion is like helping people understand, helping people see that the psychic stuff is not bad, it's not dark. You know, I even had someone fucking rip shit at me a couple of weeks ago saying, you're the reason why people, like, you put a bad name on people like us, like meaning psychics. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, how long are you doing following me for? Anyway, it was just like, I'm like, this is my passion, to help people see that is everyday reality. Like, we are connected to spirit. Like, everybody is connected. Everybody has a soul. If we don't have a soul in our body, our physical body breaks down and dies. Of course, it's breaking down anyway, but do you know what I mean? Our soul, everybody has that. The level of consciousness to the connection of their soul is what we're doing in any sort of personal development work. Like, that's what we're doing, right? Now, in reading Drunvalo's book again, and the thing that made me stop and just go, what the fuck, right? Because even I noticed the man at the talk was doing it, and I'm like, why? Why do people teach in cryptic words? Why are people cryptic? Because they fucking want to be in control. Like, that is the thing about it, right? They want to be in control. And I thought the whole purpose of us doing all this work to reconnect back to the heart, Goddess, like our freedom life, is to fucking have freedom, not control. That's the old patriarchal stuff. And the thing that made me question, right, was reading Drunvalo's book, and he's like, those books were channeled, like he was being guided, like he wrote them, by Thoth. Like Thoth, the Bible is cryptic. I know, like what the fuck? All control, right? And so, I'll read the other comments shortly. So, Drunvalo, like in one of the paragraphs, that's where I stopped. He's like, you know, Thoth was saying this and that and trying to get me to work out this sacred geometry, math stuff, like, you know, or whatever he says in there properly. It's just my words, interpretation. And he said, you know, like, Thoth was in the room with me, but I was the only person that could see him. And, you know, and then he's like trying to get me to work this out, and it took half an hour, and Thoth came back and he's like, no, keep going, try and figure it out. It's like he's giving it in cryptic, like, what, if, this is where I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, if Thoth really wanted people to shift back into their heart, he wouldn't have done it in fucking cryptic work. Like, I love you guys, I love you. But I'm just questioning everything, and this is where I tell you guys to trust your intuition, even with stuff, even with what I teach. Trust your intuition over anyone else's. Because for me, I'm questioning the fact that if all spiritual teachers in the world are giving you cryptic fucking information, ask why. If they're giving you a little bit and saying, work it out. If they're doing this, like that doesn't make sense to me. Like Thoth coming back and saying, no, still haven't figured it out, goes away. Like, what the fuck? What is that? And it was the same thing at that talk where it was just like, oh, but you know, it was like this still that cryptic, oh, the world's not ready for it. Yeah, for fuck's sake. What the fuck is that? The world is not ready. No. You want to keep society in that fucking space of patriarchal control? Yeah, sure. You're feeding that control. People shift, right? This is heart. Deep understand, deep connection to soul. As soon as someone understands something, they're like, connection comes through. Well, what most people do is they get scared of that level of connection and they shut back up again. And they don't want to tell anyone because they might get put in a mental asylum, right? It's like having that level of connection is like, why can't we make that normal? Like, why does it have to be cryptic? Now, I don't even know the full truth of this yet, but I'm still receiving information. Just like the other day, like after the Thoth thing, like that was probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago for me. And I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. Then I saw this sacred symbol thing come up on my Instagram feed on Gaia. And what it was about was, I watched the first episode and he was talking, yeah, that's why religion is made by governments. Exactly, to control people. I know, it's like, what the fuck? So in this documentary, he's talking about the sacred symbols of Egypt with the big wings and everything. It's all across like the American government, like the American money and like the big, you know, the eagle thing, and like, and then he was talking about the Pope and like all these, like, it was fucking amazing. I'm just like, oh my God, right? And this is why it's making me question even the spirituality, even, you know, like all the spirit beings. And like, please know, I love them. I still talk to them. I still ask for help from them. But at the moment, I'm going through this process, I'm like, why is it all cryptic? Why is everybody teaching in fucking cryptic understanding? Like, why can't we just make it in conscious human understanding so everyone shifts? Like, isn't that the purpose of coming to Earth or something? Like, so that we can all shift back to our heart or something? I don't know. Like, what is the point of creating something that's all cryptic that somebody has to figure out? Like, why can't it be really understandably easy? Like, you know, like, I mean, nothing's easy, but when you put it in cryptic shit and tell people that, oh, it's like, you know, and I get it with the sacred stuff, but everybody fucking knows, like, anyway. The only people that don't know the sacred stuff are the ones who are, like, not woken up yet, and all the governments and stuff, they already know it anyway. So, you know what I mean? Like, so I can feel something's coming through. So I feel it had to be cryptic for the ages of darkness. In the 26,000 year cycle, yes. Around the great essential sun, there have been dark and light ages, yes. Don't know too much about it, but I think it's interesting theory. We'll have something, yeah. And John Valot talks about that in his volume 1, yeah. Talks about the age of darkness and ages of light. And maybe that's why coming into this thing, but I'm still seeing a lot of leaders today doing it. And I'm like, yeah, doesn't resonate with me. That's why I teach you to trust intuition. I'm like, even don't listen to me, go and see what your intuition says about it. I'm like, go. Okay, so interesting. The other day, a huge bee came towards me, landed on me, kept circling around me, was not aware of its symbolism. Yeah, it's very powerful connection to the goddess is the bee, which is interesting that bees are, you know, so needing to be cared for. Like the bees are the ones that keep the life force with the flower, like pollen spreading and all of that. Isn't it interesting at the moment that we're like, need to save the bees, like it's a big thing. Okay, is there anything else that needs to be spoken about the ears? So I know this doesn't really cover basic ear chakra stuff, and that's why I love you. Yeah, the basic ear chakra stuff is, say basic, I mean like think, how do we listen, how do we hear between our guides, our spirit helpers, shadow, how do we know if it's our inner child or shadow or something else speaking to us, how do we decipher all of that? I have gone through that in my ear chakra like course specifically, but also if you go to my website and you know how you can learn through the chakras, on the ear chakra page there's so much information about the ear chakras and all those sorts of depths. So if you haven't experienced that sort of thing and you want to learn that stuff, that's where you will find it. I should be saying stuff like that through these live streams. These live streams are going pretty deep into the depth of the consciousness and how that's shifting the planet or not, and supporting you in your own personal life. So is there anything else that needs to be spoken about the ears on this live stream today? I think that I've covered it all. At the end of the day, I feel like this is a big awakening back to balance. You know, like we've got this even balance, like out of all the chakras, there's two, and there's a balance on either side of our head as well, right? So it's like all about the balance, all about coming back into divine balance, to healing, and to be able to listen and hear your divine guidance, and being able to hear what's spoken behind somebody's words. When somebody says they're good and you're like, you're not good, right? You can feel that, you sense there's more going on, you're hearing behind the words, listening behind the words. And this gives like a greater depth, yeah? A really greater depth to, you know, like our intuition in total. Like this is where I'm saying you don't need to leave your body to go anywhere. You just don't, right? You're listening to what's right for you, and you can travel these threads without leaving your body. Like this is the connection, this is your gift, right? Bit like the, you know, like some, I don't know, alien species and the ancient Egyptians, they had this big head. And then what happened to it? So, oh yeah, what happened to that, right? So this reconnection back, all these parts, yeah? You're so very welcome, Kelly. This is where I resonate with your teachings, yes. You teach ideas that I've asked about my whole life. Awesome. Yeah, and Dana's blowing away. Awesome. All right, guys, I'll get that ear chakra meditation out so you can start healing, repairing your ear grids and working on the inner ear, outer ear, and how they connect in general as well. So I'll release that later this afternoon. And if you've got any questions from this live stream, please comment below, even if you're watching the replay. Or if you think this can help somebody, please share it, please tag their name in the comments, or send it to them in a private message or email, or get it out to the world however you need to. And you're so very welcome, Natalie. You're so welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe, and I shall see you guys real soon. Keep listening, keep opening.